What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Punt Intended. As you can see, it's me, TTG here. I've got my buddy Hutto here. Happy holidays to you guys. I'm liking Hutto's festive. I love it. I'm loving Hutto's festive sweatshirt or sweater. Love it. Unfortunately, it's with the holidays going on and stuff. It's been kind of crazy trying to get this thing recorded. Colin is out eating or whatever. We're gonna go ahead and record it, and I'll get us picks and we'll update them next week. Anything you want to start off with, Hutto?
Uh, it's unfortunate that Georgia's in the SEC championship. That's all I want to say.
All right. Well, we'll get it started. We'll get it started with my biggest winners from week 13. I had quite a few. I'm just gonna run down them real quick. Hutto, Hutto, you go ahead if you have one, because I have three. So if you say it, I don't want to repeat it.
Dude, my big winner is who I'm pretty sure this is who I picked for my upset alert is Florida.
Yeah,
Beating Ole Miss. That was my big winner. There were several big winners last week. I think Ohio State came, beat a top five team
yeah.
pretty severely. Unfortunately, Ohio State's a big winner. Um, I'm trying to think if I see. Oh, Florida State got their second win.
Yeah, and hopefully their only other
They're
win of the
gonna.
season.
They're about to get their third win this week.
I hope not. So yeah, my biggest winners were Florida. Obviously, huge win for Billy Napier at home against the number 16 or number 9 team in the country. Sorry. A lot of Florida fans, including myself, wanted Billy gone. And they wanted to hire Lane Kiffin. So, Billy kind of sticks it to us and beats Lane Kiffin. So that's why you should never talk too early, Tate. But again, Billy, we're just 6-5 right now. Hopefully, going in the year 7-5. Nothing to write home about. Another big winner you mentioned at Ohio State, huge win at home against Indiana, and then Auburn. I had Auburn on there as well. Big win for Hugh Freeze and the boys, beating Texas A&M at home. They look pretty good. They just next year they need to find a better quarterback, and either out of the high school or out of the portal. Hugh Freeze is going to win. I feel like they're gaining momentum. Can they pull the upset this week though? We'll see. Big losers. I'll start this one off. Wait, I'm trying to scroll down on my little sheet. I've got Ole Miss, obviously. Playoff hopes pretty much gone for the most part. They need a lot of help and not a lot of people to lose. Indiana had a chance to prove they belong and piss down their leg. Still, they're not a bad team. They'll probably still make the playoff now that a lot of teams have lost. And then I'll just pick one more, Colorado, and then I'll let Hutto have at it with the other two. I know he's going to pick. Not technically out of the playoffs yet, but a loss you felt like they definitely wanted to get a win this past weekend. Now they need to win and have some help to get to the Big 12 title game and then win that to get in the playoffs. So, who are your big losers, Hutto?
Uh, my big losers were obviously Colorado and Alabama.
Yeah, I figured.
Alabama was, basically locked to go to the playoffs, and they play a 5-5 Oklahoma. Like this is their training. My prediction when I found out that DeBoer was going to be their head coach, my prediction is they were going to have 4 losses on the year. Um, and it's looking more and more like that I'm going to be correct. So because I really do, I believe that Auburn is going to pull off the win against Alabama at home.
Okay, okay, I like it. I like it. I really do. So I think Alabama will probably rebound this week. We'll see though. But I think a lot of people are sleeping on DeBoer. I think he's the right man for the job. He just came in. Saban retired so late, or announced he was retiring so late in the cycle. It's hard for him to get a coaching staff. There's going to be a lot of turnover on that coaching staff. He's going to get some better guys, I think. And then obviously he's doing really well in high school recruiting. I think they're going to be just fine. This year, Milroe, they're going as Milroe goes, and he's been really inconsistent. So when he plays well, they win. When he plays bad, they lose. So.
I don't at this point, Alabama's been such a big program for so long. At this point, I don't know how there's a lot of mad Alabama fans. There is a lot of mad Alabama fans.
Oh yeah, they want
I,
DeBoer
at,
fired.
at this point, and I said this from the beginning, he's got 3 years to win a national championship.
I don't know
3
if he'll win a
years.
national championship, but he'll be in the playoffs for sure in the next 3 years, I think.
But here's the question: Are Alabama fans, are they okay with just winning a national championship? That's the real question. I mean, just playing in the playoffs.
Well, they
You
better get used to it because there's only one guy that's
know,
there's only one Nick Saban, and now that he's gone, there's only one coach in the entire country that has multiple national titles. Well, Dabo does, I guess, too. Two coaches in the entire country, and I don't think either one of them are leaving and coming to Alabama. So you either get used to it. I think with the I think the NIL, the transfer portal, have kind of evened out college football a little bit. It used to be just strictly who could recruit high school and develop the talent the best. Now you can go get somebody out the portal that maybe's not playing a significant role or is playing a significant role at a smaller school, and he can contribute at your school. You don't necessarily have to get all the 5-star talent from high school now. So I think it evened the playing field a little bit. But yeah, so we'll move on. Players of the week. I'll go ahead with mine. I'm sure you don't have the same ones as me. Devin Neal, Kansas running back. They fed this man all night long in Colorado, just took it right up the rear from him. Devin Neal, 35 carries, 207 yards, 3 touchdowns on the ground, 4 catches, 80 yards, and a touchdown through the air. Hats off to you. You're my offensive player of the week. I did have a defensive player of the week this week just because I watched the game. Bryce Thornton from University of Florida, defensive back, had one hell of a game, career game. We're really beat up in the secondary, and these guys just keep producing. Bryce Thornton, 14 total tackles and 2 picks. Picked off Jackson Dart, who's probably one of the better quarterbacks in the country this year as far as not throwing interceptions. Picked him off twice. Congratulations, my friend. Who are your players of the week?
my player of the week was DJ Lagway. This was a huge game for him. Huge
Yeah,
game. It wasn't a perfect game for him, but it was a huge
yeah,
game for him. There was some stuff that he did make mistakes. I mean, all quarterbacks make mistakes, but this was probably the biggest game of the year for Florida. This was a statement game, and he stayed poised the entire time, and you know,
yeah,
got the win. I mean, that is a. I don't care what they have. Ole Miss ranked at now. That is a quality win over a very good football team.
mm-hmm.
But I mean, even Florida's defense did phenomenal. I mean, you're talking about Dart, who is a seasoned, very veteran quarterback.
Yeah,
So I think Florida was just a win overall for them.
yeah,
That was a huge win for the University of Florida.
yeah. I agree. I think Lagway played. I mean, he only completed like 50% of his passes, but the ones he did complete were big ones. There was a couple times he had guys draped on him like immediately as a snap, and he was able to still get the ball out and deliver it on time and accurate for big first downs. And yeah, he threw a nice touchdown pass to Elijah Badger. I thought he played well. As you said, the defense played fantastic as well too. Um, Upset alert. Do you got anybody you want to put on upset alert? I looked for like an hour and I was like, I guess if I was going to put somebody on upset alert, I mean, there's a bunch of them. It's rivalry week, so I guess it's hard to like pick one. I would say. Do you have one by any chance, Otto?
Um, we've got Vandy Tennessee at Vandy.
That's a good one,
This
actually.
one's let's put Tennessee on the upset alert for
I
Vandy
love
at
it.
home.
I love it. I'm gonna make some Georgia fans mad. I don't think Georgia Tech will win the game, but I think if Georgia don't play their best game, Georgia Tech's a rowdy or a feisty bunch. They fight, man. And not Clark Lee, what's his name? Brent Key, their coach, great coach. They're gonna be disciplined. I think it'll be close, probably a half. And like I said, if Georgia makes a bunch of mistakes or something, they could lose. But I didn't want to steal yours.
No,
Yours was
I
good,
will. I will
but
go
I
ahead and
think
tell you, if I was willing, if I was not a Georgia fan, and I will not ever put Georgia on upset, just like I won't pick against Georgia. Um, man, it's tough. If Carson Beck has to have his, what together.
yeah, and he's looked
Georgia,
better. He's looked better recently. I think if he plays the
yeah,
way he has the past 2 or 3 weeks, they're going to cruise in this game. They're more
yeah,
talented, better
Georgia's
coached.
Georgia's defense needs to. I mean, last week was atrocious. They've got to. They have got to play their A game. This Georgia Tech team is a team that can ruin your season,
Absolutely.
and,
And
and,
you know
and
they
we're
love
we're
nothing more than
we're-
that.
yeah, and we're on the edge of losing our entire season. I mean, not I mean, let alone talking about. I mean, I think there was people asking Kirby Smart about what do you think about UGA being locked for the SEC championship, and he's like, I'm worried about Tech next week. Like, I'm not even
Yeah.
thinking about the game, and I think that's the right mindset to have
Oh, absolutely.
because Georgia Tech. I mean, we got one of Dublin's own playing on defense. The Georgia Tech is not to be underestimated. They're
Oh,
no
absolutely not.
slouch, and they've just
Absolutely not.
gotten better throughout the year as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree. Um, so yeah, with that being said, I guess I'll put Georgia on upset alert, but if I was going on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned I'd be if I was a Georgia fan, I'd be like a 4. You're at home, it's a night game.
Well,
It could get
Georgia,
weird, but I'll take Georgia. As you'll
Georgia,
see.
Georgia beats them. If Georgia loses, they beat themselves on this. If
Oh,
Georgia
absolutely.
plays, that's it. I mean, when
Yeah.
you put it up talent wise, yes, they have some talented players. They have some talent, very talented running back. Um, Georgia Tech is a good football team, but when you put them, apples to apples,
Yeah.
Georgia's deeper. Georgia has a better coaching staff, as far as I'm concerned. We just
Yeah.
have to Georgia just has to not do what we've been doing all year, which is defeating themselves.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And we'll move right into our pick 'em. So Colin's not here. We'll get his picks and we'll update them next week. Next week's gonna be fun because then we're gonna have conference championship week, and then immediately after that we'll break down the playoffs after that. It's gonna be a fun couple of weeks for us on the podcast. But we'll jump right into it and we'll pick up where we just left off. Georgia at Georgia Tech, and I'll start us off. It's Georgia. These are the AP rankings because the college football rankings are coming out tonight, I believe, or either they came out last night. No, I think they come out tonight. So they're not updated yet. So I just went with the AP rankings. Georgia Tech at number 6, Georgia. And as of Monday, Georgia was favored by 20 points, almost 3 touchdowns and 3 extra points. I'll say it, Georgia Tech sneaky. They find a way to win games somehow, probably games there where the talent is not in their favor. They always seem to rise to the occasion. But Haynes King has been hurt. I think he got hurt in the Miami game or either the game before Miami. And they've been playing a mix of Haynes King and Aaron Philo, who is, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's from like Pace Academy or Prince Avenue Christian in Georgia. Pretty good kid, but anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go. I think Carson Beck has another big game, and he's starting to pick up where a lot of Georgia fans maybe thought he was not the guy for the job, but he's starting to pick it up, and I think the Dogs prevail 34-21. I think it's a little closer than the 20-point spread. All right, Hudo, who you got in this one?
I'm gonna have to go with UGA. I think, like I said previously, they have got to play strict discipline football to win this game. But I think that Carson Beck's been having a lot better game. I mean, obviously, last week was a fairly easy game for Georgia, but he played very uncharacteristic of him this year. Very good football. So I really think we just need to rely on hopefully, and our defense is allowed to have one bad game this year. Our defense is the only reason we're still in the running for a playoff.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I agree.
I mean
That
that's
Georgia
the only
defense
that's
is
the only
good, man.
reason.
There's no doubt about it.
That is, and you can't expect them to be perfect all year long. They are allowed to have
No,
one, and they didn't lose the game. It's just a game that you didn't envision them getting put up 21 points on. So
yeah,
I'm
I
gonna have to
agree.
go with Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia, I think so. Think it's a pretty safe bet here. Now the game I'm kind of nervous about. I know Florida's already at bowl eligibility, which is exciting. But I want to beat these clowns in Tallahassee. I do. Florida minus 14 at Florida State. So on the road, Saturday night, 7 p.m. in Doak Walker. I think that's the name. Yeah, Doak Walker Stadium or Field. I'll let Hudo lead us off with this one. Who you got?
Who was it? I'm sorry.
Florida at Florida State.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna have to go with Florida State on this one. I think they're gonna win. No, I'm just kidding. I think Florida is gonna have a time. They're going to be able to do whatever they want to. with this defense, with this offense. I think it's going to be a really good year for Florida for their rivalry. There's just I don't see any way, shape, or form that Florida State can make this game look even competitive.
I hope you're right, Hutto, because if not, if we lose this game, I will be making a video on Billy Napier Sunday, and I will have his. No, I'm just kidding. But no, we should win this game. 14, I think, might be a little much. We'll see. We're definitely capable of blowing them out, which I hope we do. FSU's poo poo. If Billy wants to lose the fan
Wait,
base again,
what's the spread?
14. Florida's
The
favored by
spread
14.
the spread is only 14.
Yeah,
Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you.
it was on Monday anyway.
I don't even know if Florida State scores 10.
Well, we'll see. They
I
have
just
they started a new quarterback last Saturday. The
I
freshman
don't.
Luke Croman, and I know it was Charleston Southern, but he's got some zip on the ball. Now the offensive line's kind of trash. Receivers are just running backs are defense is They're a whole lot of mid. So hopefully the Gator defense should be able to shut it down. They've played well the last 6 or 7 weeks. I think we should be able to score on them. But I'm gonna err on the side of caution, and I think Billy does get win number 7. I think the Florida wins 31-20. I think we probably get up like 31-10 or something to try to cruise, and they end up scoring a couple late. But moving on, rivalry week is fun, man. Michigan at number 2 Ohio State, and Michigan has been bad this year, but you can never tell in these rivalry games. Ohio State favored by 20.5, a large spread in this game. But I will say, Michigan, I know they flipped the recruit Bryce Underwood from LSU, the 5-star, pretty much can't miss prospect. The dude's a stud for real. I know. I've seen his tape. But pretty simple here. He's not on campus yet. Ohio State's better everywhere. I think Ryan Day and the Buckeyes are tired of losing to that team up north. And I'm going to take the Buckeyes to win 34-10. I think they cover the spread. Hunter, what you got in this one?
Um, this might be surprise. Michigan 6-5. They haven't had any real big, the guys that they've been beat by are all. Oh, hold on, I'm looking. Never mind, I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm trying to see who they've been beat by, just so I can. I'll make it fun. I think Michigan pulls it off and
Oh,
embarrasses Ohio State.
Hunter. You know the Ohio State fans. I'm gonna have to post this in a clip. Ohio State fans are gonna have your fucking head, buddy.
Dude, that's fine. Ohio State fans are bums, dude.
All right, we're moving
I
on.
really do hate that my Ohio State hate started with their fan base.
I can imagine.
So
Most
that is
fans
fun.
of winning teams, they probably hate y'all too, especially since y'all have been winning lately. It seems like people that fans of the
Well,
teams that win a lot
it's
are
not
insufferable.
even
Kind of
it's
like
not even
Alabama.
winning. Like what is Ohio State? I mean, when was the last time they won a national championship? Was it 14?
Uh, yeah, 14 or 13.
Yeah, it's been over a decade.
I
Young
didn't mean like
Ohio State.
necessarily winning national championships.
Ohio,
I just mean they
Ohio
win.
State. No, Ohio State hasn't done anything in the past 10 years, so I just don't like them because they're bums.
I love it. Yep, that's getting clipped. Chat, clip it. All right, moving on. No, this may be, well, probably my number 2 game of the week. Number 16, South Carolina at number 12, Clemson. Clemson favored by 2.5. Again, these are the AP ratings. So don't come in here, oh, Clemson's ranked 10. Clemson's ranked. I don't care. These are AP ratings. I told you that. All right, so I'll let Hutto lead us off with this one since I led off the last one. Who you got in South Carolina, Clemson, man?
Where is it being played at?
In Death Valley in Clemson, South Carolina.
Ooh, that's tough. Dude,
I'll say that when I talk.
I really, really, really want to go with South Carolina on this. If it was at South Carolina, I really do think South Carolina can handle Clemson. Um, screw it. I'm going with South Carolina. I think that they've been playing really well. The program is actually developing a lot better than I thought it was. I mean, they had a terrible terrible last couple of seasons that weren't promising whatsoever. But this is one of the biggest turnarounds I've seen out of a
Yeah.
subpar team in a long time.
Beamer has done a
Um,
great job there.
so I'm going to South Carolina's walking away with it. It's going to
I
be a
love
close
it.
one, but they're going to pull it off.
I'll be rooting for South Carolina for sure. Not because they're SEC, just because I want to see them. Hey, if it gets weird, they're a 3-loss team. They've got some pretty good wins, and all their losses are teams that are or were ranked. So I want to see what happens if they win and see if they can get to the playoffs. But so I'll start it off by saying Clemson needs help to get to the ACC title. So if they don't make the ACC title, do they make the playoff? They definitely don't make the playoff if they lose. So they definitely need to win this. I think whoever wins this gets a little bit closer to their playoff hopes. I love the way South Carolina's playing. Like you said, Lenora Sellers, solid quarterback, one of the best underclassmen in the country. Now, South Carolina fans, I don't want to rain on your parade. Sellers is good, not as good as DJ Lagway. You can say I'm biased. I'm just telling you straight facts. But he is one of the better underclassmen in the country, and he may get even better. Who knows? But I'm going with Dabo. I'm going with Cade Klubnik at home. I think it's going to be close. I'll go 28-26 Tigers. Moving on, this one I wouldn't have thrown this one in there, but I think this has playoff implications as well, especially if Boise State were to fall in their conference title game or this weekend. Memphis at number 18, Tulane. Tulane's favored by 14 points. Both these teams, if I'm not mistaken, are either 1 or 2 loss teams. Tulane being ranked that high, if they were to win their conference, and like I said, one of the Power 5 teams in front of them were to fall behind them, then they would make the playoff. I don't know much about either team, though, so I'm just going to go with the home team and the favorite. I'm going to go with the Green Wave, 38-17. I'll let Hutto take it from here. Memphis at Tulane.
Memphis is one of those teams that kind of
They're still, I looked at their schedule, they're good. I mean, they're not bad.
Memphis has played some solid football games this
Yeah.
year.
Mainly beating Florida. Didn't they beat Florida State? I think
Yes, they did. Yes, they beat.
That was
Florida
Mike
State.
Norvell's old team.
That
was my favorite win this year for them for sure.
Man, this is a hard one because you can never really tell, but they're top 20 or they're ranked number 20 right now, and it's at Tulane. Oh,
yeah, it is in New Orleans.
With it being Tulane's at home, I'm going to have to go with Tulane. I think they're going to pull it off.
I like it. I like the pick, my friend. Moving right along, we got a pretty good amount of picks this week. Kansas State at number 17, Iowa State. Both these teams have kind of disappointed me in the last few weeks, but huge Big 12 title implications. Hutto, do you know there's one more week of the season left, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the SEC, for instance, just for example, the SEC is down to 3 teams that can make the SEC championship, right? It's either Texas or Texas A&M and Georgia. Georgia's in. So whoever wins this weekend between A&M and Texas is in. Do you know how many teams can still make the Big 12 title game going into the last weekend?
6.
9.
How many? Really?
Yeah, I mean, obviously some crazy stuff would happen, but 9 teams can still make it. So this game has huge Big 12 title implications. I'll go first. Both need to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. I think both need to win the conference to get into the playoff. I just feel like Avery Johnson, and I can't remember the running back's name, but he's solid too. I love their coach. I think they're going to get it done. K-State wins by 1 point on the road, 28-27.
1 point?
1 point. They score at the end of the game and kick the extra point and win the game. Hutto, who you got?
I'm going to have to go with K-State as well. That's, to me, this is it's one of those that are kind of difficult because, like I said, it's rivalry week, and we've already discussed this. You never really know what's going to happen, but I think I'm going to have to ride with K-State on this one.
I like the pick, Hutto. I like it a lot. Last game of the week for me. Probably a game of the week for most people. Number 3 Texas at Kyle Field. Number 20 Texas A&M. I know Texas A&M's coming off another loss. They've lost. They've disappointed me recently too. They've lost 3 games. I think they lost to LSU. Right? Maybe. No, I don't know. But they're playing number 3 Texas. I'll let you go first, Soto. Who you got in this one? Texas favored by 6, by the way.
Okay, so the 24-4, they've got Texas. They've lost to Auburn, they've lost to South Carolina, and they've lost to Notre Dame, which is right
Okay, they
now they
beat
still
LSU
have
though.
him. They have them ranked at. They actually beat LSU 38-23.
I remember that
Um,
LSU was up, and
yeah.
then they put in the backup. Marcel Reed came and just stormed back. I do remember that now.
Okay, so and where is this getting played at Texas?
Texas A&M,
Oh, at
Kyle
A and
Field,
M.
baby. Yes, sir. The 12th man.
And the Auburn win kind of throws me off because Texas A and M, Auburn's defense is pretty solid,
Yeah, they
but
really are.
they put up 41 points
Yeah.
on Auburn's defense. I mean, that to me that's still impressive. I know they lost the game. Give me the Aggies in Aggie land. Take down
Oh,
number 3 Texas.
I love it. Then that would set up a title SEC title game between the Aggies and Georgia. I think Texas needs to win out. I mean, Texas A&M needs to win out to make the playoffs. Obviously, 3-loss team. If you lose another game, you're out. So they need to win out. So we'll see what they got. So for me, I want Texas to lose so bad. I do. I want them to lose so bad. 1, because of Manoa Rios. 2, because it's their first year in the SEC. I do not want them to win the conference. I think
Well,
Georgia will
okay,
take care of them anyway, but go ahead.
let's be honest. Let's look at their strength of schedule. It
Yes,
is
ma'am.
like I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care if they do win the SEC. I don't care if they do win the SEC championship. They did not play any quality games. If they win the SEC championship, it is because it was basically just given to them with this strength of schedule. I mean, is I mean, I think at this point, if Vandy would have played their same schedule, Vandy probably could have been put in. It's I don't know. It's
Their
difficult
schedule
for me.
was remarkably easy. And I didn't know. I mean, it's hard to tell at the beginning of the year what teams are going to be good and what teams are going to be bad. But the timing they got each team, and then
Has
the only team they played that was pretty good in my opinion was Georgia. This will be
has
their
there
second
been
test.
okay? Here's the question: Has Texas played a team that is ranked within the top 25? How many
Other than
teams?
Georgia,
Yeah.
I have no idea. I know they caught Florida. I think Florida. I'm not saying Florida could have beat them, but they caught us, of course, coming off after the Georgia game where our quarterback was hurt. We were kind of banged up on defense a little bit too. It just seems like the timing laid out perfect for them, everything. But I don't know how many top 25 teams they played. I would guess
I'm
not many.
fairly sure. Look, okay, I'll read you their schedule. Colorado State.
Yeah,
They
trash.
did beat. Okay, they did beat a top number 10 Michigan. But let
But
us
now,
but let us remember this was the second game of the year, and
yeah,
Michigan was ranked because they won the national championship before. So
yeah,
really and truly, this is not a top 25 team. If you could
no,
have really assessed this team, and I mean obviously now we know what we know, but yeah, Michigan is you can't even consider that a top 25 team. But
yeah,
other than that, they played UTSA. UL Monroe, Mississippi State. They
trash.
played Oklahoma and beat Oklahoma.
Oklahoma's not that good either. But they did beat
But
Alabama, but Oklahoma's still not that good. Their defense is decent, but offense is kind of trash.
Oklahoma is 5-5. I don't know what these rankings are. This has Oklahoma at 18. I don't think
That's
I
at the time
really
they played them for
okay.
sure,
So
because Oklahoma's definitely not ranked.
they have technically. I'm not going to count the Michigan win
I
because
wouldn't count Oklahoma either because right now they're not ranked. I mean, they were ranked when they played them technically, but I try to look
but that was
retrospectively.
still
You know
But
what I mean?
that was still October 1st. So they have one top 20 win over a team that should not have even been, they're not ranked any longer. I mean,
Yeah.
we know what Oklahoma's about. Then they had Georgia, Vandy. They almost lost to Vandy, which that's no,
I thought
slouch
they
to
should have
Vandy.
lost to Vandy.
Vandy's a good team. They
Mm-hmm.
almost lost by a field, they were up by a field goal.
Yeah.
They beat Florida, which obviously Florida's not ranked. They're coming up a little bit better, but
We got
still, I
torched
mean,
too. Good God, we got torched.
yeah.
Holy shit.
You won against Arkansas and Kentucky. It's just not an impressive roster.
Yeah, their resume is
Um,
not good. And Josh Pate put it perfectly. He said, I would hold Texas to the same standard I would hold Indiana. Um, but now that teams have lost, obviously, these teams are getting into the playoff. But if Ole Miss had won, if Alabama had won, their resumes are far better than Texas and Indiana's. But everything kind of worked themselves out. Oh, I forgot. I didn't even make my pick yet. So I want Texas to lose, obviously. I also kind of want to see Texas and Georgia run it back. I think Texas is playing a little bit better football than, well, I don't know. Georgia just had their way with Texas. I want to see it again. If they do it again, then you know it wasn't a fluke. I don't think it was a fluke, but some people, Texas fans mainly, are saying it was a fluke. I think this game's going to be a battle. Kyle Field's going to be rocking. I love Mike Ilko. He'll have a great game plan. But Sark is going to dial up an offense, and he's going to be able to score, I think, on the A&M defense. The question for me is Quinn Ewers going to play or not? He did hurt his ankle against Kentucky. He didn't. He played in the second half, but looked very limited. But I still think Manning's more than capable. So even if he doesn't play, I'll still take the Horns. 31-21. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's probably a 3-point game going into the fourth, and Texas scores and kind of puts it away with like 4 or 5 minutes left, and they win by 10.
if Quinn Ewers doesn't play and they have to play Peyton Manning, I mean, not Peyton Manning, Archie
I know what you
Manning.
meant.
I think that's going to solidify the A&M win. Don't get me wrong, Archie's going to be a phenomenal quarterback. I'm not putting him down by any, but even at during the UGA game, which obviously that was one of his first NCAA showings.
Yeah,
Um, they had put him in and he had looked really good and so play. If A&M's defense plays well and they're applying pressure. I mean, Archie had one good run against UGA, and then they shut him down for the entire time he was in there. Um, I really think if they do play Archie, especially in this environment at at Aggieland, I think Texas A&M is going to walk away with it.
I love
It'll
it.
be close. It'll be within 10 points.
Yeah, I think so too. It wouldn't surprise me if A&M won. If you told me A&M won, if we fast forward to Sunday and said A&M won, I would say their defense made a couple plays and got a couple turnovers, and it wouldn't surprise me. So I could see either team winning.
And that's no slouch against Archie Manning. I think he's going to be a phenomenal quarterback. I just he's not played in those games before.
Yeah, and when
Also,
he
I
has, it's
hate
been limited.
I also hate Sarkeesian's outfits that he wears on game day, dude. You're a coach. Don't dress like
Those
you're a homeless person on the side of the street, bro. He
I
he
can't
looks
stand his
like
sunglasses. They're so
he
small.
he he looks like he was holding a cardboard sign outside of the University of Texas shop, and that some female student saw him and felt bad for him and just bought him a Texas jumper. That is, dude, his outfits are just terrible. I hate them with a
His
dying passion.
sunglasses are so small. You know what a monocle is? Those little things that people used to read. It looks like he's got two of them, just small, barely enough to cover his eyes, dude. I don't know. But there's no doubt he's a good coach. I will say that. I can't knock him for that. But we'll find out. Hutto, do you have any trivia for us? If not, that's all I got for
I
today, bro.
have I have some trivia, but do you want to? I mean, we can wait until Colin gets back, or I can do
Nah,
them
hit me
now.
with
I
it.
think
Just hit me with it. We'll let Colin do
all
trivia
right.
next week.
All right, let's pull it up. Okay, Tater. Uh,
Yes.
Okay, the first college football game was played on November 6th, 1869, when Rutgers hosted what Ivy League team?
I'm gonna say Princeton.
It was Princeton. Look at you.
Yeah.
Who takes the goat? All right, let's say nicknamed Golden Arm. This legendary quarterback wore the jersey number 16 and played for the Cardinals from 51 to 55. Who is he?
Mm, Golden Arm. I have no idea. No, yeah, I don't know. I don't even have a
His
guess.
name his name is Johnny
Unitas.
Unitas, and he
Yeah.
was
Okay.
ranked It's number 5 of 100 best college football players, according to the sports news outlet of that time.
Yeah, I know who he is. He's good. They have an award named after him now.
So, how did you say his last name?
Unitas.
Unitas.
Yeah.
Gosh. Okay, and this is a cool one. I didn't know this. What was the original Arizona State mascot?
No clue on that one either.
Mm.
I don't
It
even have a
was
guess.
it was the Bulldogs.
Oh,
The Bulldog was adopted as the mascot in the early years, but in 1946, the student body voted to change the mascot to the Sun Devils.
I think they're much better suited to Sun Devils. There's a lot of Bulldogs, not a lot of Sun Devils.
There's only one real Bulldogs
Yeah,
football
that's
team
true.
though.
There is right now, yeah, for sure. I mean, what you got? Fresno State, Mississippi State, Georgia. I mean, I'm sure there's others. Those are just I think of now. Georgia's by far the best though.
I'll say,
That'll do it. Hey, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, man. I
yes,
hope it's
sir.
a good
You
one, brother.
too.
We'll
Happy
talk next week.
Thanksgiving to everyone but Ohio State fans. Good night.
Good night, brother.